All right. Let's go. Have a couple of things I want to talk about here. Number one, this is maybe a little bit validating and a lot scary. Just real quick, we have a couple of updates on past segments I have done. But the New Yorker just published this piece. The mystery of ICE's unidentifiable arrests. And do you guys remember about a month ago, I covered a story out of New Mexico that was really only picked up by local New Mexico news. Essentially, like a bunch of like indigenous and like Hispanic folks in New Mexican communities had gone missing, approximately 48. And this is some confirmation that, in fact, there have not been additional updates on the status of those 48 people. The New Yorker here doing some good investigative work, but basically, and we're not going through the entire article, obviously, but I'm going to link it so you guys can check it out. People haven't been able to figure out what happened here. The last update we have on these 48 folks is an ICE press release saying that they had detained 48 people, and those people are still missing, but they're also not in the ICE system. It's very, very worrying stuff. And I thought I was going crazy because periodically I do try and return to these older stories to see what happened, and I have not been able to find anything. And so, it's very, very worrying on top of the other events we've been seeing transpire with ICE. This is, by the way, why we must, when we come back into power as a leftist movement, we must abolish ICE. There is no middle ground here. That must be like the demand on the tip of almost all of our tongues. It's chilling stuff. I also want to give an update on a story I talked about yesterday. Do you guys remember yesterday I talked about the story of Jose Hermosillo, a 19-year-old man who was arrested by ICE in Tucson, Arizona. Well, I talked about how the assistant Department of Homeland Security head, Tricia McLaughlin, was painting him as a dangerous criminal who, through his own negligence, got himself arrested by ICE, even though he's a U.S. citizen. And what I did not know when we talked about that story yesterday is very specifically that Jose Hermosillo has a learning disability that renders him illiterate. He cannot read. And in the reporting from popular.info, which, by the way, most of you should be following for some really good quality reporting here, Hermosillo was interviewed, okay? And in this reporting, we're just going to go over this. According to Hermosillo, he was visiting his girlfriend's family in Tucson from his home in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Several hours before his arrest, Hermosillo was transported to a hospital in Tucson by ambulance after suffering from a seizure. He has a New Mexico state ID, but did not take it with him during the medical emergency because, again, he was having a fucking seizure. After being released from the hospital following treatment, Hermosillo did not know how to return to where he was staying. He approached the Border Patrol officer because he was looking for someone to help him. I saw a car and I asked him for help, Hermosillo said. He told the officer that he was staying in Tucson. You're not from here. Do you have your papers? The officer said, according to Hermosillo. This is literally some papers, please shit. This is Gestapo shit. When the officer asked where he was from, Hermosillo said he told the officer New Mexico. The officer then accused him of lying. Don't take me out like I'm stupid. Don't make me out like I'm stupid, the officer said. I know you're from Mexico. After that, Hermosillo said he was arrested. This officer was approached by this man coming out of the hospital and was asked for help, and the officer then just said, "You're trying to make me look like a fool. I'm arresting you." Hermosillo said that he never told the officer that he was born in Mexico, was a citizen of Mexico, or entered the country illegally, and he would not have said those things because they are not true. He signed the transcript released by DHS because the officer ordered him to sign everything, but Hermosillo did not read it because he cannot read. He literally cannot read. He has a learning disability. They coerced a man with a learning disability into signing papers alleging that he is not a U.S. citizen. And then they are using that as justification to rob him of his rights. It is disgusting to the extreme, and everyone from the top to the bottom of this administration should be arrested and tried for false imprisonment, for crimes. Okay? According to Hermosillo's girlfriend, Grace Hernandez, Hermosillo has a learning disabilities and can only write his name. Hermosillo said he did not graduate from high school and dropped out after the 10th grade. The officer also signed the document, which said Hermosillo read the document or had it read to him, but Hermosillo said no one read him the document. Other documents created by the officer have inaccuracies. For example, the criminal complaint says that Hermosillo was detained at or near Nogales, Arizona, but Hermosillo was detained in Tucson, which is more than 70 miles from Nogales. John Manel, a spokesperson for the U.S. Border Patrol, said it was an unintentional error. And, I feel like you have to have a real big unintentional level of error here to mistake your location by over 70 miles. So, update on that story, I guess. Just another wrinkle that makes it so much worse. So much worse. This is quite literally Gestapo shit, by the way. Like, if you read up on the history of, like, the Gestapo, they did this shit. Glory to our Stazka energy. Yeah, like, I don't know. Like, where are all the real gamers at? Where are all the real gamers that played Papers, Please? I feel like if this keeps up, ICE will not be in the safest position anymore. I don't think they're in the safest position now.
Riverboat Jack is going to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube is where she streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, gaming, plenty more. Her sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Riverboat Jack. Riverboat.